Hello everybody. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So in today's video, I will be walking you through the process of loading data from Google BigQuery data warehouse to Pandas data frame. And this Pandas data frame will be running in Jupyter Notebook that we will be launching from Visual Studio Code. Okay. So if you remember in the previous video, I walked you through the process of launching Jupyter Notebook from VS Code. I also did make another video previously that was showing you how to connect your Google Cloud Platform account to Visual Studio Code. Okay, so that was TCP account to VS Code. How do you connect your accounts? So there are two videos that I made previously that will be useful for you or for us going into this video. Number one was how to connect your TCP account to VS Code, and also how to connect or how to launch with a notebook from VS Code. And I have put the links for those videos in the description. If you want to refer back to them, it will be useful if you forgot. So in today's video, then we will continue from our last video where we launched Jupyter Notebook. And what we want to do is from Jupyter Notebook, we want to connect to our dataset or our table that is in BigQuery. We want to bring that table to data frame, do a bit of manipulation, and then write back the transformed data to BigQuery. Okay, so that is we connect to BigQuery, we do some manipulation to our table or our data that is in BigQuery, and once we have our final transform data, we write it back to BigQuery using pandas data frame. So how do we do that? And that's what I'm going to be showing you in this video. So let's get started. Okay. So right here, this is, if you remember, this is the screen where we left last time after we created our virtual environment and we ran we loaded a CSV data. It was the one that we loaded, and we did some quick we ran some quick pandas codes to just interact with that data. So I'm not going to be showing you the whole process again, but if you forgot, just go back and refer to that video on how we ended up here. So also on the other video that I made regarding connecting TCP account to VS Code, if you remember, once you connect, it will be showing your project down here, your project ID down here, once you're connected to your account, and you can switch, you can click here and switch among projects, right? So if you click here, you will see the project that you're working based out of. So this is the one that I'm working out of. So that is just, a quick overview of what we did last time. And this basically again will let you run gcloud commands. We will not be doing gcloud in this, but yeah, just to remind you if you forgot how to do that. So the first thing we want to do to connect to our BigQuery is we want to create a Jupyter Notebook file. So again, in the last video, I showed you two ways. One that is running in browser and another one that is running within VS Code here. So for today, I want us to just run it within VS Code, right? You could do either way. All you have to do if you want to use the browser is right here, Jupyter Notebook. And execute this. I'm not going to run this, but once you run this, it is going to start your server and launch your browser editor that you can use. So for this video, I will be working out of VS Code here. So if you remember, all we have to do for that is we want to create our file. So I will say here BigQ demo. Okay, that's BigQuery demo Python notebook. So that tells VS Code that you want to work with notebook, Jupyter notebook. Okay, so I enter that. Now, what we want to do from here is import the libraries that we'll be using. So there are 3 libraries that we'll be using for this. These are those libraries. Okay, so I have some here. So the first thing was to connect to VS Code, create that virtual environment, and here now is these are the libraries that we want to import. So I want to import them first, and then let's see what happens. Right, these are the libraries we will be using: pandas Google BigQuery or GPQ, and Google Cloud BigQuery. So these are the libraries that will let us interact with Google BigQuery. So what we want to do now here is to import those libraries. So here I want to import pandas as PD. I also want to import pandas. Actually, instead of you watching me type this, I did have some of those queries here. So I want to import these 3 right here. Okay. So these are the 3 libraries, and I don't believe I have them installed right now. So we will download them if they are not there. So I will run this, and most likely it's going to fail. Again, here it's going to ask you the kernel that you want to use, and what we want to use is our isolated virtual environment. Okay, so this is the one, and you will see it here. If you don't see it here, just go to select and Python environment and choose that one. Okay, so once you choose that, it is going to launch your backend IPython kernel here, and because we had installed it, it's not going to take that long. So right here, if you see, it's complaining of pandas, and I believe all of these are not installed. So what we want to do now is go ahead and install this library. So I have this command here that will install those, and you want to install these libraries inside your VM or virtual environment that you created. So I'm going to press that here and run. So this is going to install pandas. It's going to install pandas GPQ, which will let us actually, the reason why we need this is a library that will let us write back our data to BigQuery. So pandas will allow us, and also BigQuery here, these 2 here will let us manipulate the data. So pandas is just a standard library that will let us interact with data either in CSV or even from other relational databases. And BigQuery is one of the relational databases. It is a warehouse, so it has data in tabular form. So we want to import this too. And then this is the one now. Once we have transformed our data in pandas, and we want to write that data back to BigQuery, we want to use this library. This is going to help us to write this data back to BigQuery. While this is launching, let's go back to BigQuery and see the table that we will be using. Okay, so this one is done. Let's actually, before we go to BigQuery, let's see if we are good now. So what we want to do is run this again. So I'm going to run this again, and this time hopefully it will be running without a problem. Okay, so that's good news. So it's running now. So we know we've imported our libraries properly. So now what we want to do before we proceed is navigate back to BigQuery, and let's see what's going on over there. Okay, so if you go to, what you have to do is log into your GCP console, right? And to do that, let's go to GCP console and log into your account. I'm logged in here, so it is the same thing. Let me just close this. So once you're logged in, all you have to do is go to the services, the navigation bar here, and go down to BigQuery, click that, and it will bring you to BigQuery. Again, if you don't have any data in your BigQuery environment, please refer also to one of my previous videos that I made regarding how to load the data to BigQuery, and the data we had that time was coming from Google Cloud Storage. If you also know some other ways, you can even upload a CSV file to BigQuery and create as a table. So this is our BigQuery environment or dashboard, and I do have this project right now. And inside this project, I have a number of data sets. Basically, data sets are schemas, really. So I want to take the one for demo, right? And what we want to do right now, I'm going to delete this because that is what we want our end product to be. So I'm going to remove this. And this is the table that we'll be using. It's called Boston Marathon winners. So right here, if you see, we only have one table right now, and this is the table that we'll use. So we will load this table to pandas, okay? And then we will do some transformation on some of the data and bring that transformed data, write it back to BigQuery, okay? So what we want to do now is we want to copy the table ID, which will contain our project ID, which is this first part, our dataset ID, which is the second part, and our table, which is that last part. So we'll copy this, and we will bring it right here. So I'm just going to copy that line. So again, this is that grid I was referring to. So the next thing we want to do is define the client. So we want to define the client here. So basically, this is a BigQuery client, and the client really allows, it's an API that will let pandas interact with BigQuery. So this is a BigQuery client, just a variable, and BigQuery, which is what we defined here, which tells pandas that you're trying to connect to BigQuery, and we want to get a client so that we can connect to the warehouse, the BigQuery itself. Once we are there, now we want to define our project. So these items here. So the first one here I'm defining is the project ID, and like I mentioned, it is the first part, which is this right here. And then our dataset ID is the demo, which is our schema really, and the source table is Boston Marathon, which is the last part. Okay. Now I also have put the name of this one here as the destination table, which contains the dataset ID we have defined here, and what our table will be. Okay, so again, this is so we define these variables, and then we will use it now to do our transformation. So I'm going to run this. Okay, so I have run that, and that means we didn't get any errors. That means you're able to connect to BigQuery. So now the next thing we want to do is query this table, right, and write it to pandas data frame. So I will bring the query for that, and I just wrote this so you don't have to watch me type it. So here, basically what we are doing here is write BigQuery table to pandas data frame, right? Pandas data frame. So here is the query string. I'm basically selecting it from the project ID, which is this one, dataset ID, which is this one, and I'm bringing the source table. And what I'm doing is actually, let's do one thing, right? I'm going to cancel this, and I don't want to print this right now yet, so we'll do that. I don't know if that's going to work, but let's see. Actually, I'm just going to delete this for now. Let's do one thing. I'm going to put it in a new tab, in a new line here. So we want to see the data, right? So the way to do that, I'm going to clean this. Actually no. So we want to write it to the pandas data frame. Okay, so I'm going to also remove this. This is just basic select statement. So we are putting it in a query string. and then we will let pandas execute that query so that it can bring our data from BigQuery and load it to pandas data frame. So this is the query. It's basically doing a select from this table, select star, basically everything. And what it is doing is it is storing it in this. So this query string, we are creating a variable called results and passing it to this BigQuery client. So this is going to execute it, and the results we will write it to pandas data frame. Okay. So then it will let us. Then from there now we can use the pandas data frame to interact with this data. Okay. So I'm going to execute this. Okay. So that one ran well, and then we forgot to do this. So we want to also write it to pandas data frame. So let me comment that and write it. Okay. So now this one ran and it has inserted our data frame, pandas data frame. So all you have to do now is do df, and it is going to show you your data. Okay. You can also do df shape to see. You can see here we have 6 columns and a total of 124 records. Okay. Again, if we want to inspect this data, let's do df again. Okay. So you can see we have the year, the winner, the country, time, distance in miles, and distance in kilometers. And this is from when Boston Marathon started. I believe this was 1898, all the way to 2022. This data goes up to 2022. Okay. So now what we want to do is we want to do some transformation and then write that data back to BigQuery. Again, from here you can do a lot of things, but just basically you've seen now we've brought the data from BigQuery. We are able to connect to BigQuery. And then the next thing that I want to do now is I have done all of my transformation in pandas, and the final data that I have, I want to write it back to BigQuery. And maybe our folks, our PI team, our data analysts are connecting directly to that table in BigQuery and then using it. So basically we're just doing some cleaning. So now, like this is like really basic, right? So what I want to do now is do the same thing here, right? But I will say, I will name this one as cleaned query, okay? And assume now we have been told by our PI team that they only want to fill, right? Marathon winners, Boston Marathon winners who are coming from Kenya. And we have a number of countries there, so you can pick any country. I'm just picking here Kenya, right? So we'll pick this, and it's only going to list only the winners who came from Kenya, okay? And we want to order by ascending order. So that means from way back when the first year that someone from Kenya won, all the way to the recent one. Okay, so we're doing that, and then I am going to name this as cleaned results, and we want to query this. So this is the we put here our query string, right? And here the idea here is we want to bring the same to data frame, okay? And then we load it to df results, right? You could also use filter, right? And you know what, let's actually do that because we have done it already here. So I'm not going to use this now. I'm not going to use this. Let's do one thing, right? We have here, so let's write a cleaned df, right? And what we want to use is df dot, now let's go filter, and I don't know how to do that in data frame. So filter data and pandas. So now we go back to Google, and our friend now will be we can, Google will be our friend now. You can find ways of filtering data in pandas, right? So I don't know how to do that, but let's see. Okay, so let's check this out. Let's check this out. So we do it like this, df, and we want to get df and df dot country equals, I believe, Kenya. Let's see, and let's return that. Okay, cool. So we have this list here, right? So this is the number of, this is the winners, the Boston Marathon winners, the individuals who won Boston Marathon winners, and they're from Kenya. Okay, so this is how you do it in pandas. I don't know if we can sort it. Sort pandas ascending. Let's see. Okay, and all right. Sort values. Okay, so this is sorted data. So this is let's try this out. So we have this now, right? We have cleaned and we want to sort this data. So we can do that and check that out. So so our data frame is this one here. This is our data frame. Okay. And I'm going to put this into sorted data. Okay. Going to sort the data, right? And we want to sort this one. And we are sorting it by year, right? First column, year, and ascending order, right? Let's see if that will give us anything. And then now we see that data if it's sorted. There we go. See that? So now we have the first individual that won from Kenya was in 1988. This guy Ibrahim Hussein, and all the way to 2022, Ivan Chibet. So this is now our transform data, right? And this is just a basic transform data. So what we want to do next now is we want to write this data back to BigQuery from the pandas data frame. So you could do, very extensive and complex transformations in pandas. And once you have your final data, you want to write it back to BigQuery. How do we do that? So there's a library that helps us do that. And that library is this one that we imported here called 2PQ. And it's a very simple, just one line command that you execute to write your data back to BigQuery. So that one is this one. I have it ready for you. So we want to write it back to BigQuery. So we put it right here at the end of this, like that. So it is to BigQuery, and then inside you now input. You specify, this information here. So one is the data frame that you want to write. So the one that we want to write is this one called sort the data. We want to write it this to BigQuery. Okay. And our destination table, if you remember, we set it up here. So this is our table, destination table, and it is going to write to our demo schema or dataset, and the name of that table will be Kenyan Boston Marathon winners. See, so we have defined that. So we're just passing those variables right here, those values here. So destination table, project ID equals project ID, and if it exists, replace it. Okay, just replace it. So I'm going to execute this and let's see what happens. So it is writing now. and if you see, it has written it. Okay, remember we deleted that, so we only have one here, right? So we only have one person marathon winners. So if we refresh this, we should be able to see this table now present, this one, because that is what we just specifying here. So write this data set, data frame, which contains only Boston Marathon winners that come from Kenya. So let's see. So I'm going to refresh this. I'm just going to click this, and there we go. See that? Boston Marathon winners. And it has all of the columns, and let's see the data now. See, we have 24 records, and if we go here, we can do sorted data dot shape, and we will see there are 24 records and six fields. Okay, so again 1 2 3 4 5 6, and we have 24 records, and this is our data, right? Okay, so take a note that it's not really sorting it here, and you can write a query from here, for example, to you can query this from here and order by year, like that, and it's going to sort your data. So there we go. So now we have transformed our data from pandas or in pandas, and we have written it back to BigQuery. Pretty simple. Okay, so that is it, guys. I mean, that is just what I wanted to show you. Again, the process what we did here was we connected pandas to our BigQuery table. We brought in that data to pandas, and our pandas was running in Jupyter notebook that we launched from VS Code. See how we did that? First of all, we set our environment, and then once the environment was set, we started connecting now, and went ahead and did our work. So again, once we loaded it to pandas, we did our transformation, and we wrote that table back here. So from here now, we can tell our analytics folks that, hey guys, your table is ready. You can go ahead and consume that table. So that is really how this works. How this type of work really sometimes goes. You do your piece of work, and then somebody else goes and does the rest of that work. So if you are looking for a video like this, I hope this was helpful. Let me know if there's anything I missed, and I can cover it in the next videos. But again, thank you very much for watching this video. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe to this channel, and spread it, share it with your friends, and let me know in the comment section if there's anything that you would like me to cover. All right, guys, thank you so much. That is what I only had it for you guys today. Thank you very much. Bye.